One of the most persistent questions I get asked on this channel with regards to Witcher 3 is how you get the tattoo for Geralt. Well, the answer to that is fairly simple. You import the save from The Witcher 2, where you can get the tattoo within The Witcher 3. Or you can also use mods, I imagine, that enable this, or maybe some console commands as well could work. But the main method is to import the save from The Witcher 2 on PC. Obviously, this is a PC-only affair over here. I recommend that if you're going to import the save, you use the autosave that you get at the very ending of the game, following your conversation with Lefo, so that all of your decisions from The Witcher 2 get taken into account, including Lefo's fate in The Witcher 2. Your final decision is regards to him, and that autosave is the only way for your decision to be taken into account. Otherwise, you can let the game set up an import state for you, and you can answer some questions with General Voorhis, if that's your pick. But obviously, you will not get the tattoo there. But how do you gain it in The Witcher 2? And keeping in mind that you can also remove it in The Witcher 2, though this may bug out as well in The Witcher 3, depending on whether or not you change your hairstyle. I've heard something along those lines. Well, the answer is you do a quest called Hungover, where Geralt gets drunk with a bunch of the Blue Stripes, Vernon Roach's unit that he commands at the beginning of The Witcher 2. You get drunk with them, have a good bonding moment with them, do some dagger throwing, some wrestling, and at the end of it all, you finally get the tattoo. It's actually quite a humorous tale, all things considered.
To paradise on whores' asses!
5 of you came in. Or crawled in, I should say.
I was crawling?
Indeed. One of the blue ones ordered 5 girls. I gave you the best because you showed me good coin.
What happened next?
This is the interesting bit, because instead of ploughing them like the normal soldiery, you mounted them and told them to give you a ride to the port.
Can't be.
Ask the lass in the uniform then.
Vess was here too?
Sure was. She tried to stop you, but you were too much for her.
I tried to talk you out of it, but you insisted you'd cross the river on the whore's arses. You tried for several hours, but it just wasn't going to be.
What happened next?
You said you wanted to be one of the Blue Stripes and had to get yourself a tattoo.
What tattoo?
One like ours. And you got it.
Shit. Where are my things?
So that's how Geralt gets the tattoo of a naked woman brandishing a sword. But the significance of this tattoo is more than just a humorous moment in the game between Geralt and the Blue Stripes. You can always remove the tattoo in The Witcher 3. There are NPCs, Triss in the first act of the game, Philippa or Sheila in the second, and I imagine some sorcerer or sorceress in the third act of the game that can remove it for you. The ingredients aren't that expensive if you so desire to. The reason I have never removed the tattoo is because of its story significance. I mean, visually speaking, purely visually speaking, it's a nice way to customize Geralt, to make Geralt more unique to you, the player, because it is ultimately your decision whether or not you keep it or remove it. But beyond that particular point, however, is the story significance of it. Now, some people like it, some people dislike it, how it looks, but the story significance cannot be understated. In that, Geralt is a loner. He's someone that society looks down upon, someone society despises. When he walks down the street, people spit at him. That's how much people despise witchers, freaks, mutants, whatever else they call them. And yet here you have the Blue Stripes, who are regular sons of bitches, but at the end of the day, they welcome Geralt within their little gathering and make him feel as part of one of them. Make him feel welcome. And for Geralt, that's something that's very rare. Very few people are willing to accept someone like him, of his nature, and yet these people are. And that's really why the tattoo matters, because this is something that goes to the very core of Geralt of Rivia and his character and what he ultimately desires. Because at the end of the day, Geralt is someone who does desire to fit in within a group of people, someone who does care about his friends, someone who does want a family, and someone who does want to be accepted as a person. And so that these characters are willing to do so, that they're willing to look past his yellow eyes and his super mutant abilities and accept him for what he is obviously something with great story significance. To quote the conversation from Baron Kimbolt within The Witcher 2, that really goes to the core of Geralt of Rivia and who he is as a character.
They say there are no innocents at war.
Indeed. At war, there is but the cause you fight for, a higher calling. Though they also say war is a refuge for the cursed, an asylum for those stripped of heart and soul.
A higher calling. Beautiful concept. Except I remember the knights who stormed Lavalette Castle. High-born men fighting atop high walls. They were out to kill for fame, fortune, and pure enjoyment. I was also at Vergen, where simple soldiers went into battle clutching false relics to their breast. If there's one thing I love about being a Witcher, it's that I never have to draw my sword on someone else's command.
You're a paid thug, even if you refuse to acknowledge it. That murky set of principles, values call them. You cast them in the nearest corner when the price is right.
I'm not for sale.
I'm not talking about coin, Witcher. As a freak, you want what you're most often denied. Camaraderie, respect, love. That is your price.
That is Geralt of Rivia in a nutshell. That conversation represents everything that he is as a person, everything that makes him tick, his real motivation, and what he ultimately wants. So that's why the tattoo matters. That's why it's significant. It's not because it's a nice visual thing, though, some people may like it, some people may dislike it, but rather for its story impact. And that's why I've always chosen to keep the tattoo within my playthroughs and why I wanted to import it in The Witcher 3. In fact, CD Projekt introduced it after I had the conversation on their forums with their community manager and brought to attention why this tattoo matters, the significance of it from a story perspective. And he talked to the developers and they introduced it. I imagine it wasn't very difficult. Obviously, it's just a small visual modification that they put on Geralt. It was a very nice touch. It's something small that has a big impact. And it has a big impact not just because of the bonding moment between Geralt and the Blue Stripes, but also because of what happens later on with the Blue Stripes. It's also a way for Geralt to remember the Blue Stripes, considering that they all get slaughtered, or most of them get slaughtered at the end of Act 2 of The Witcher 2. So just, quite a bit of story significance over there about Geralt, about his bonding with the Blue Stripes, and also related to Roach and Vess and their stories. And obviously, Vess and Roach in particular, are some very important characters that got introduced in The Witcher 2, remain important characters for The Witcher 3. One of the main story decisions that you have to make, at least when it comes to, you could say, side quests of The Witcher 3, does relate to Roach and Vess. And I'm obviously talking here about Reason's Estate, which I feel CD Projekt could have done considerably better than what they ended up with. But still, it is obviously one of the more important quests, and it does impact the overall ending that you get for the game. Anyway, Costin here on Serious Gaming signing out. Don't forget to subscribe, like the video. Thank you all for watching. Stay tuned for more.
Vess, are you all right?
Yes.
What happened?
Deathmold invited everyone to a feast. He said the king was grateful that we'd helped reveal the plot. A roast pig and 2 barrels of wine awaited, he said. He said Vernon had just returned from Kedwen. He was to be personally decorated by the king, and I was to be there to see it. The lads went to the canteen, I went to the royal tent. Well, Roach was not in the king's company. Deathmold jumped around like an ape, shouting that they'd all hang as punishment for Flotsam for conspiring.
Vess, what did they do to you?
I begged them. I pleaded. They laughed at me and let me go. Your Majesty, withdraw your order, I beg you. They're normal fighting men who were just following orders. They don't deserve to die. Please, sire, show mercy. They're men of honor. They deserve better.
Honor? Where was your honor when...
Deathmold, leave us.
Your Grace.
What can a whore know of honor? You're a stupid little strumpet, and that is how I shall treat you. You'll behave if you want to see any of your foolish comrades again.
Don't go there, please, Roach. Deathmold expects you to seek vengeance. He awaits it.
He won't need to wait long.
Don't you understand? They hanged the lads to provoke you. You were away. They had a battle to win. They didn't know when you'd return. You cannot go there.
We won't.
We'll follow the army. Kill every Kedwini we meet.
That's suicide.
Plough it all. Everything I loved died in this tent. My country disintegrates. My friends cruelly murdered. I want blood.
As do I. You've no idea how much. I can still smell that swine on me, but I'll not let them win. Attack Henselt now, among his army, and blood will flow. But it will only be yours.
Vess is right, Roach. Let it go for now.
Fuck! What do you suggest I do?
We'll try to get to Vergen through the ravines. I know a hidden path into the town. With the battle raging, we won't be noticed. We'll find Sheila and get the Kingslayer.
And in the process kill as many Kedwenis as we can.
Vess, can you manage it?
Vess stays. I'll not put her in danger again. And someone must get back to the Percival and its crew. Sail to a nearby cove. We'll need some way to get out of here.
I'll take the boat around the bend past the camp and await you there.
Alright.